Hi guys, it's Cal here. Welcome to Life is a Big Fat Classroom, where we teach you habits on how to live a damn fulfilling life and pursue a meaningful career. So in today's episode, what I wanted to talk to you guys about was what does a life coach even do? A lot of clients and a lot of my friends have been asking me that question. And so I thought I'd create this video and give you guys some insight. So pretty much my job, how I see my job as a life coach or a human behavioral coach, is to create transformation for my clients in an area of their life. And so what that means is, what that requires is knowing where they are in their lives right now, and then identifying where they want to get to, and what's that gap, what's that void that's in between where they are and where they need to get to. And often what fills that void is a variety of different unresourceful habits that are actually holding them back from achieving their dream life. And essentially 95% of what we do is unconscious. So my job as a coach is to bring awareness at an unconscious level to those patterns of behavior. Because in order for you to change, the first step to change is self-awareness. And once you know what the pattern is, where you learnt it from, and then you have a look at, okay, well, how is this actually playing out in my life? So for example, for me, I had problems around food. For a very long time, I was like, I want to be healthy, but for some reason, I felt this massive internal conflict and struggle inside of me, because I was always thinking about food, and I didn't know what it was. But through coaching, what I realized was it was just an unresourceful behavior of me trying to feel significant, trying to get connection, and trying to get certainty. Because what happened when I was a child was there was a defining moment where I got in trouble with my parents, and they left me alone in a corner, and I was like pulling my earlobes. Asian parents do that. No, I'm joking. So, well, I was doing that, but in that moment, the child brain can't tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So we couldn't tell that my parents did actually care and love for me, and that they were trying to teach me a lesson. In fact, what I made that mean was that I wasn't good enough, and that I'd screwed up, and it was over. Like, that was actually the dialogue. So whenever I ate food, and what happened was that pattern kept playing out in my life in the years to come, and it played out in all various forms. And in one of them, it was food, because I wanted to feel significant. So what I would do with food is, because I didn't get the significance from my parents when I was a kid, well, that's been and gone, but the patterns continue to play out. And I would go to food because for me, food was, when I'd go to it, it would be, it understood me, it was there for me, it was certain, it was someone telling me, Cal, it's okay. And for a moment, I felt like I was okay. But then obviously after, that wouldn't feel so good, because I'd eat unresourcefully, literally eat my emotions. And through coaching, I was able to bring awareness to that. And then what I realized was, okay, now I know what the pattern is, I know where I learned it from, now I have a choice. I can either choose to continue allowing that pattern to play out in my life day after day after day, week after week, year after year, decade after decade, or I can choose to change. And so now when what I want food to actually mean, so this is when I talk about the void. So that unresourceful pattern, that's the void. And where I want to get to is actually, I want to see health as, well, food to me, I want it to nourish my body. And I want it to be a way for me to love my body. And I want it to energize and fuel me so that I have the energy to go out and serve. I have energy to go out there and connect with people and be present and be engaged and listen to people and make them feel significant. But I realized I couldn't do that when I didn't feel significant, because what I realized with food was that after I overate, I would feel myself retreating, even just psychologically, even though I wasn't physically doing this, psychologically I was retreating into a corner of the room. Again, this is the child mind, retreating to the corner of the room, feeling sorry for myself, like feeling swollen, like pathetic, and like no one cared for me. And I was like, you know what? I don't actually want that anymore. So now that I've got conscious awareness around that pattern, whenever I go to food, I stop and think, I'm like, am I hungry? Or Cal, are you in search of something else right now? And I mean, I won't say that pattern's completely disappeared, because I've been flexing that pattern or that muscle for so many years now, for like 20 something years. It's obviously very strong. So, but the stronger, the more I start to flex this new muscle of, I want to validate other people and make others feel significant, the stronger this more resourceful muscle becomes. So it's not that it's completely disappeared, but I'm just definitely more consciously aware. So in those moments where I'm going to food and I'm like, I'm not hungry, I'm actually craving something else, I've actually built up a series of resourceful strategies and habits for me to resort to. So it might be something like making a video for you guys, or maybe writing a blog post, or coaching a client, or speaking to a friend, or going outside and exploring, and going for a bike ride and listening to a podcast, or going to a meetup, going to a networking function. So there are a series of very resourceful habits that I've come up with, that I've trialed with, and I've seen which one works, which one doesn't. What doesn't work is baking, because then I just end up eating the food. But yeah, talking to people, that's a really great one. So for me, that is my job as a coach, is to help you create transformation, but by bringing self-awareness to the things that aren't serving you, so that you have the choice to change. But at the end of the day, it's really important for me as a coach to remember, and for you as a client, to know that the change really comes from you. You need to want the change. I have tried, oh my gosh, when I first started off trying to coach everyone and anyone, anything that moved, I was like, I'm gonna coach you. But what I realized is I can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. And so you need to want the change. And on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how important that change is to you, unless it's an 8 to a 10 out of 10, the impetus is not strong enough, and you're not going to change. So you need to find and dig deep a compelling why for why you want to actually change. Otherwise, yeah, from my experience, it hasn't really been successful. And an analogy that you might find helpful that a mentor shared with me was, coaching is kind of like if you thought about me being a doctor. It's like you go to the doctors and you tell them, look, I don't know, I've been fighting a lot recently, and yeah, what can I do about it? And so the doctor would say, I would ask you a series of questions. How long has this been happening for you? What's the pain that it's causing you? What would you actually like to feel or experience instead? What have you tried so far? All of those questions, and then after that, they'll give you a diagnosis. And they'll give you treatment. They'll give you a suggestion for treatment. But it's really up to you at that point whether or not you want to take the treatment. Because you might be like, they might say, well, you need to cut out sugar and gluten from your diet. And you might be like, well, you know what, doc, I actually really like all that stuff, so the payoff's not great enough for me to warrant that. In which case you won't change. Or alternatively, you could be like, you know what, this fighting business is causing me so much pain. Like, every time I come home, all my brother says to me is, dude, you stink. Or you can't even, have sex without feeling uncomfortable, or you can't go out you can't go to the movies without fasting the entire day because you're scared that you're gonna let one rip. Like, I mean, if the pain is so great that you really want to change, then you might actually be like, yeah, okay, I'll do anything to make this happen. But the choice is up to you. So my job as a coach is, again, to bring self-awareness to things that are unconscious to you, because our job is to look out for patterns and to help map out how your brain and how your unconscious works, and then bring that to your attention so that together we can create awesome transformation. So guys, I hope you find this video helpful. If you've got any questions, queries, curiosities, feel free to leave me a comment below. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up or share this with a friend who you think might find this helpful, because remember, I'm here to serve. So in the meantime, live generously, learn a lot, get really, really curious and be resourceful, and laugh along the way. I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.